Welcome back. You're watching The Insight, and our panelists are already here. I just want to unveil their faces and introduce them. We are joined by British Elachi, Member of Parliament, Dagoretti South, right? No. Dagoretti North, yes, and we're joined by the Senator of Nyamira. This is Senate Council Okongo Mogeni, and we're joined by Brian Weke as well, who's a political analyst and an active member of the Linda Mwananchi. Today, it has been a very interesting day, and we just want to put this clip as a segue to our discussion and a raft of issues that we shall be discussing here with our panelists regarding the Senate and, of course, the governors and the ensuing tiff that is on, as we saw.
Samburu Governor Elachi late summoned to respond to pressing audit queries on county expenditure, reportedly resisted the committee's directive, resulting in a tense standoff as senators moved to drag him into the chamber, sparking chaos outside the corridors of Parliament.
Because you had asked that the Sergeant-at-Arms escort him to the police station, the Sergeant-at-Arms was already there. And Honourable Speaker, as honourable members, we asked him to walk with us into Parliament so that he can be taken where you had ordered him to be taken. One of his goons, Honourable Speaker, grabbed me by my coat. I don't say it's an expensive suit, but now it's ruined.
Governor Lelate's hurried exit left senators fuming. Inside the chambers, senators lamented over what they termed as undermining of Senate authority and an oversight on the part of governors. Senators have emphasized the need for governors to be held accountable over the use and management of county resources.
It will be good for the whole country. It will be good for the whole country to see for themselves the sort of amazing things that we are told in County Public Accounts Committee. When you ask somebody to show you what they utilized money on and they tell you that they gave supplements to wild animals who are being given special food, and there's children in this country going hungry, I want them to stand there and be live on all media stations and say those things. Let us see if Sifuna is the problem.
That if there is a matter that has touched the raw nerve of this House, it is this issue of the collective non-appearance by governors before the House of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. And I want to tell the governors, it doesn't matter which office you seek intervention from, and they know what I mean, Mr. Speaker. This is something that is non-negotiable for us, Mr. Speaker.
I want to ask my beloved President, should these people be spotted at the gate of State House? They should be chased away, arrested promptly by the Inspector General of Police, and be frog-marched before the House for accountability. They have tendencies on El Chapo Guzman. You remember the story of El Chapo Guzman, Mr. Speaker? He ran away, but it was finally caught up, Mr. Speaker.
The governor, however, has defended himself, saying he is willing to give answers to any queries the senators might have, and that he has not refused to appear before the Senate, explaining that he had requested for a rescheduling of the summon before the County Public Accounts and Investments Committee.
I was even friendly. I told them what's wrong. They told me we want to go to Parliament so that we can talk to you. So I said, why are you assaulting me then? Then we were walking. I thought we were just going to have a conversation, a cup of tea with them in Parliament, because I was already done with the Senate.
The spectacle has highlighted the growing friction between county governors and senators over oversight, raising questions about transparency and devolved governance.
Right, continuous extortion and unnecessary harassment is what the governors are saying. The senators are actually mishandling them. And I want just to hear from Senator Okongo Mogeni, because I heard you also saying that today he outran Omanyala. Right? It's carried from the precinct of Parliament, to his car and sped off. What's happening?
Yeah, Dibal, good evening. And first, just to thank you for this opportunity to be here and have a conversation on what is happening in our country. First, it's really unfortunate that we have a number of governors, about 29 of them, who think that they are their authority unto themselves. They don't want to respect the constitution that Kenyans enacted in 2010, which gives Parliament, and Parliament I'm saying National Assembly and Senate, the power to summon any person to appear before them and give clarity on an issue. If you have followed the implementation of our constitution,
Yes.
Beatrice Elachi Mheshimiwa will tell you that without fail, every year, year in, year out, the President, in fulfillment of Article 132 of the Constitution, addresses Parliament every year, State of the Nation, to update the nation on what he has done to attain to show, among others, how he has pushed the country towards attaining our national values under Article 10. Cabinet ministers, secretaries appear before Parliament to answer queries day in, day out. I think the day before yesterday, I saw the Prime Cabinet Secretary was before Senate committee. So really, there is nothing unusual. In fact, some countries take the issue of summoning witnesses so seriously that if you fail to appear when they apprehend you, the Parliament is given power to even confine you by jailing you within Parliament. It has happened in the UK. If you read the Parliamentary Privileges Act of the State of the Republic of Australia, the Parliament has power, both houses, Senate, House of Representatives, has power to sentence anybody who defies summons from the House or from the Senate to a maximum of 6 months. So what's happening, the kind of defiance we are seeing from about 29 governors, is an attempt to throw this country into anarchy. It's actually an attempt to overthrow the Constitution, because it was not in vain that the Constitution states in Article 125 that Parliament has the same powers as the High Court of Kenya. In fact, in many occasions, governors have been fined up to $500,000 shillings, and they pay in compliance. But what I'm seeing is unprecedented. I think it's an attempt by governors to show that that title they have called His Excellency gives them some immunity, which even the President has not purported to say he enjoys. He appears before Parliament in compliance with what the Constitution requires of him. So going forward, I think whoever is advising the chair of COG, the good governor of Wajir, should read to him the provisions of the Leadership and Integrity Act, because Leadership and Integrity Act states that you can never escape from accountability
but just looking
as
at,
a state officer.
But just looking at how also the governor of Samburu has been mishandled, do you think from your own assessment it was handled in the wisest of fashion?
I mean, from the clip I've just seen, I was in the House and I heard the Speaker pronounce himself and say, we don't want this drama we are seeing from governors. You know, yesterday, Governor Sakaja came to the House, went to the Office of Majority Leader, and requested to have a meeting with the Majority Leader and Minority Leader. Then he took photos. When he left, he said, you know, you can see I've appeared. That's not the way you appear before Parliament. Parliament, you're normally summoned to appear before a particular committee on a scheduled date, and the agenda is set. And then today I saw him write to the clerk saying that, okay, I apologize. I'm now ready and willing to appear before the SIPA committee. Just give me the date and time, then I will appear. So I think in response, the Speaker made a ruling and said, we don't want this drama. This governor has been given an opportunity to appear, has not appeared. He knows the procedures of the House. He's a former member of Parliament. He cannot just walk in and say, now here I am, I've come. So I think partly I'll also blame the governor. And the clip I've seen is like they were walking in with senators. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, he decided to run away. I don't know why he was fearful. He should have come in, have a meeting with the Speaker.
Okay.
and say, I'm willing to appear on,
all right. Let me hear
on a given date.
From British Elachi, because of course you've been within the chambers of Senate and you know what really happens. This is not really the first time that you've seen this, but these allegations of extortion and corruption, do you think they have a genuine kosher reason for not appearing before the Senate? Because collectively they've made that decision, because there are 4 within that particular committee who are extortionists, as they say.
Well, you see, whether they are extortionists or not, as they would say, but you see, the law now comes in, and I think what the governors should try and do, both with the Senate, before even they continue with this summons and everything, how I wish the leadership itself, the COG and the Senate, can sit down and have a very clear discussion in terms of going forward, how they would wish each of them to engage. Because I think for me, when you get to that level now we have reached, you see what you have just done is to empower each other now. So every governor will be coming in with a mop of people, and I don't think we want to see that. If anything happens, then anything can erupt. It won't be even fair. So for the integrity of the Senate, and the Senate has a right to summon them,
yes,
I think they need to have a discussion and agree. And if indeed you've been summoned and you have not appeared, I think there is a very clear procedure of how you write back to the Senate and you request. And you do it a few days before. If you are not coming, don't wait until the day the senator sat is waiting for you, and it's when now you decide now to play all these dramas that are happening. But the other thing that we have to also be very careful, you see, when you manhandle and you are there as senators also, you put yourself into a very awkward situation in terms of, if anything happens to this governor there, it will be told it happened when you're in the Senate. And so the Senate is supposed to also ensure, even when you are going to court, the police will have to escort you in a manner where you cannot get into trouble within the vicinity of the judiciary. It's the same. So they just need to, because they can also find themselves trapped. Yeah, somebody can decide to play that game and just be messing up all of their proceedings like that, which I don't think is right. But it doesn't look good. But for going forward, for me, Senate, the Speaker, the COG Chair, the leadership of the Senate have a clear meeting and agree on the principles. Yes, the principles are already laid out, but because of this matter, it's important for them to do that for their own future as they move. Because we are going to elections, and I think everyone is just playing a dirty game. And my governors should just be accountable. If I mean, you are called, you will be asked questions. Most of these things also, governors have a very better way of getting out of it, because maybe you are not the implementer. Well, as much as I know, they are the ones who dip their hands into the jug completely. But then they can come there and I will tell you it is the CC who did this and that. I mean, just arrange yourself, prepare yourself. You know very well, you have spent money, the money was passed by the Senate. Just come and be accountable for it. And if you have mismanaged it, explain.
Yep.
And it has been happening, so why now would we enter into all this drama?
Right.
I don't think it's right.
Yeah, let me come to Brian and ask you, because also recently we've seen reports from the Auditor General giving a very shocking and a worrying, trend with the governors on how they're spending the money, building of their residences and their offices. Even some of them, they have tunnel maybe to the ocean as well. Is this why maybe they're greatly shy to appear before the Senate? Because they will be interrogated on these issues, and they've made that collective decision not to. So the excuse will be extortionism and unnecessary harassment from the Senate?
Dibal, this is a clear issue of accountability. It is a case of an accused person who's being prosecuted, and then they turn and say that the problem is the prosecution. Dibal, people fought for this constitution. People died for this constitution. If you remember, the problems that we had in the past was about control of resources. And we said, look here, let us create devolution so that resources can be transferred to the local communities, regardless of where they are. And even the first devolution, we're not seeing meaningful change in the lives of the local communities. You know why? Because of lack of accountability. You know, I'm hearing my very good friend, Honorable Elachi, saying that people need to sit down and discuss. We don't need to. If you look at Article 96, it's very clear that the Senate has authority to oversight the governors. And in the first devolution, actually governors went to court to challenge the powers of the Senate, whether they have capacity to oversight the governors. And the court was very clear. And there were actually 3 different matters. And the court said that under Article 96, the Senate does not just have the role in terms of oversight and accountability. The governors ought to appear in person. You know, they were arguing that the governors are not supposed to appear in person. And there are many of those matters. There was one that was in, I think, Thika. There was one that was filed by the Council of Governors. You know, we need to start implementing this constitution. If you look at Article 125 that Senior is alluding to, it is very clear that Parliament has the powers of High Court, whether Senate or the National Assembly. So if they summon you and you fail to appear, if you look at Section 19 of the Powers and Privilege Act, it provides that actually a warrant of arrest should actually be issued. And the Parliament needs to start implementing this. These 29 governors, they should be arrested and forward marched to Parliament because they have to be accountable. The plunder that is happening in these counties, if you look at what they are being issued and what is reaching the people, is a joke. Dibal is a joke. Look at the other report that we saw. You find governors, like where I come from, we do not have a serious hospital, and many other countries, and the governors are using billions and multi-millions of shillings to construct offices. For what purpose?
Well, but Kenyans are complaining that, you know, the police are quick off the mark to go and arrest you know, someone like, you know, the late Albert Ojwang. What really happened? Yeah, Albert Ojwang, the late Albert Ojwang, if you may remember that story, right? But with the governors, yeah, it is somewhat a preferential treatment. So this is the first incident that we can see, but many of them, they're not given that particular treatment like, you know, ordinary Kenya will be given when there is a warrant of arrest.
Yeah, I think I like what Brian has said, that the Constitution is very clear. It says that Parliament has the same powers like the High Court of Kenya. So maybe this is a wake-up call to the 2 houses, National Assembly and Parliament, to go back and maybe review the coercive powers that we have under the Powers and Privileges Act.
Yes.
You know, because even the law I've made referred to that was enacted in Australia in 1987, they were responding to events that happened within Parliament. So I think we should close ranks as a house, I mean as a Parliament, and maybe enhance the powers that are granted to us under the Powers and Privileges Act, so that in some instances, because you could also get people who want to misbehave from national government, because, you know, there is a trickle-down effect.
Yes.
If the governors defy Senate, I can assure you, somebody else will start defying the National Assembly. So if you allow that trend to permit itself, it will become like a normal occurrence, where people will just be saying, no, Parliament, we can defy and do whatever we want. there is no democracy. Even if you go to the US, when there is a subpoena from either House of Representatives or the Senate, people must respond and obey that subpoena. They must appear and respond to the issues raised. I like the way Senator, now Honorable Elachi and Brian have said that when Kenyans created devolution, they knew that resources will trickle down to governors. And they were very clear that there must be accountability on how that money is spent. And accountability does not only happen in Senate. I've seen, you know, on TV, National Assembly putting CSS to task. You remember what happened to Linturi on the issue of fertilizer. Okay, you saw what happened to the former CS, Nakumincha, Health. That's what we are supposed to do as the people's representatives. In fact, Governor of Kirinyaga was put to account to the extent that she quit and said he was going to look for lighter duties elsewhere. You know, so as the people's representative, we cannot have any room for excuses. Governors must come, let them appear and explain. I mean, if you pick issues that are raised by the auditor, you will actually feel sorry for your country, because this money goes down to the counties to bring services closer to the people.
But why can't we be told of this for senators who are extensionists in the Senate?
You know, I've been waiting. Now I can reveal. As a good lawyer, I've been waiting to hear the person who says I delivered. Because under our laws, the giver and the taker are both guilty.
Yeah,
so tell us, is it Kenyatta who once told his officer who complained that he gave a police officer money, and they said, before you arrest the police officer, arrest that guy who gave the bribe? Because you start from, because there is no way as a senator or even Honorable Elachi, you can force a witness to give you.
No.
There's no way. And if you appear before the Senate and say, we are not going to pay anything, nobody will lock you up because you have refused to. It must be you trying to compromise people because there's something you want to cover up. You know, so tell us, who is this who came and gave money, so that we can tell the police, arrest the giver and the taker. Yeah, that's the only way you can say that justice is being done. It must swing both ways. You know, those are excuses, but I can tell you, I think the beef these governors have, and you saw it started from the stories of Vihiga, you know, money that was taken from Facilities Improvement Fund, money that is meant to better services, health services to the people, being given to the speaker for housewarming in Vihiga, you know, money that was withdrawn from the county government of Embu and given to borders, to all, I don't know whether it was some Kamgunji or some sort. And the governors were very unhappy. They said, you see, we don't want our people to know these things. You are really exposing us. But now, what do you do, Dibal? These issues are brought to our attention by the Auditor General. Auditor General is not a politician. Controller of Budget is not a politician. She gives you a printout from IFMIS and says, look how this money has been misused by governors. Now, even if it's you, what do? This information has come to you, presented to you by a professional called an auditor. What do? Do you say, let me shield the governors, I don't bring this to the... Our intention is always to say, look at the mistakes you have committed this financial year. Please don't repeat. Next year, put more money and give services to your people. You know, like in Nyamira, we were dealing with a case where 32 million was budgeted for water and sanitation. And the governor blew the money. He just sent officers, about 12 of them, withdrew 300,000 to something, and blew the money for feasibility study. Somebody was sent from Nyamira to go to Nakuru to see how the sewer system works there. Can you imagine? I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, if you get money, we are just telling you, there is a borehole here. Buy pipes, connect money to homes, and then put meters and charge people. But you blow 32 million. Just sending people out that go and see how the sewer works in Nakuru, and then come and implement. It's, honestly speaking, without bringing politics into this, the plunder of resources at the county level should provoke DCI and EACC to do something to bring that theft to an end. It's a shame, and this country will not be transformed if we allow those governors to plunder public resources the way they are doing.
Right, but let's question also, because the president has raised concern regarding also Parliament being a center for solicitation of bribes, calling it soko huru. And we've been told almost 150 million shillings have been also, solicited within the presence of Parliament. Just an example, right, of what he was trying to say, that, yeah, they are clammy fingers of corruption, and corruption deals, they're being cut within the presence of Parliament. I think this should raise concern. What we're just seeing is just symptomatic of what, there's a festering wound, really, underneath, and we need to probe and try to treat this corruption issue.
Well, but you see, Dibal, then it goes to all of us, and I'm sorry to say that even to the president, because you see, one of the biggest crises in the country is that corruption. Forget about even what you'll get, even whether you want to say there's extortionists, I don't know, in the Senate, I don't know, 150, then you need to prove these 150 million. Because is it the chairmans of the committee? Who?
Yeah, that's where we need to begin. We need to know these faces. These 4 senators that we don't know their names up to now since they were mentioned.
Well, the COG then will have to say it. So that why I was saying you need to call in is so that the Senate should sit down, not to start saying some talks that have no whatever. You have to deal with the matter. First of all, to clear your names and say, you guys, you need to name now who are these 4 senators who decided that you can rogue our house. And then the senators will also stand and say, by the time you're bringing in that money or you are extorting, why are you extorting? Does it mean that you have really stolen your money, that your accounts are not even, you know very well, you have already issues of mismanagement in the same monies that you've been given by the same Senate? It has to be very open. And for me, I always say, to deal with a matter, you have to have a conversation, a very serious conversation. Because why was I saying that? Today, it's the Samburu governor. Tomorrow, we'll have worse. And tomorrow, we'll have... So for me, the best way is to sit and just tell the governors, look, we don't even need to have a conversation. What we shall be doing, when we order for a warrant of arrest, you'll be arrested. I think that should be now where they have read. After this, because this kills Parliament, let me tell you, it kills completely anything called oversight. And not just for Senate, for the whole Parliament. Because now you've just reminded us what the President has said. Fine, but I will say this. It is absolutely all of us as a person, a country, a person responsible in any of the institution of government. We have that problem. We can't run away from that. We have that problem. And that problem has to stop. And maybe, as you say, indeed it's a trigger. Yes, it's a trigger. We must have a conversation and agree that in every sector in this country, can we stop? Can we try and ask ourselves, or we bring in a bill that when you're doing lobbying, there's 2.5% or 1% in these things you are doing so that you don't steal. Because that's where we have reached.
So
you do the American way. You do the American way. The American, when you're doing a tender with them, that's what they do. So that you don't find yourselves taking 30%, 40%. The most sad part of counties is that when the budget has been done, you've itemized your budget very well. This sector will go with this. But the monies will just go all of it to the governor's office. And the governor will decide, health will take now 10 million. I don't know, this will do. The governor's office will take this. That is why they have a lot. But one thing we have also given them, and we are not questioning, is your own source revenue. What happened? If during the de facto councils, they used to pay salaries with their own money, and they never used to have all these streams of revenue that you see today. So what happened? Where is this money? This local revenue that used to be collected in some of the very, very rich counties that you see today.
As municipalities then?
Yes. What happened?
What happened?
But you find a county seated and waiting for the Senate that we have not received the national revenue. Why is this one of yours? Why are you not saving it even one day to pay salaries with it? Why is it that you have pending bills? Why? And it is very sickening, I'm telling you, Dibal. First of all, I'm not shy to say, when I look at Turkana, I feel tears coming out. When I look at Mandela, I feel, because this is where the highest revenue Senate gives. But now look, what life have you changed for 15? We are going 15 years of devolution. What life has changed anywhere? Even just doing one project and say, my people used to suffer water. Can I just do water for my people? None. And every governor, even the ones who are coming in Nairobi, they are not coming to transform Nairobi. They realize how Kidero did, then Sonko, now Sakaja. They are just coming again to do the same thing. And that is the most sad part of all. Anyone who is telling you he wants to come transform, how? Ask Senator Elachi, you are transforming our Nairobi how? You've not even shown us, even when you are a member of parliament somewhere, you have not done nothing, but you are about to tell us you want to take over Nairobi and transform. How? This Nairobi.
Good question. Right, that will take us to a break. Then we'll hear from Brian Weke, especially on the issue of extensionism. The four faces need to be unveiled. I don't know why they're greatly shy not to unveil them so that we can know who are this. And should they be expunged from the committee as well? We'll take a short break right now.
You would have changed the committee. You needed to have changed the committee.
Yeah, why do we have this?
Just bring new people.
Same committee still constituted, and there are a lot of issues as well. We'll take a short break. You're watching The Insight. Welcome back. We continue with the conversation on the tiff between the Senate and the governors regarding that collective decision that they will not really appear when they're summoned because of the issues of extortionism and also unnecessary harassment from the senators. While this is happening, the governors also being condemned of spending over 8 billion shillings on their offices, nearly 60% of the total allocated to governors' offices across 43 counties. So we need to also plumb deeper. You sound shocked, Elachi.
Yeah, it's not good.
When I was telling you there's a tunnel going to, the ocean as well, right? But Brian, it's your turn now.
Dibal, one of the key roles of Parliament has very simple work, and that's what we pay them to do, is oversight, representation, and legislation. And largely representation is about oversight. So if you're saying you are not appearing before Parliament, then why do we go for elections? Why do we pay the senators? Why do we give you money from the national kitty to run your programs? Dibal, sometimes it really pains me. The narrative that came during that period, it was very political. The president pronounced himself on this matter and even mentioned those names. Don't sit there as an arbiter in this meeting and feign ignorance. It was a political process, and you could see the machinations and the timings, and when the MPs were called to State House, they were very shocked. They thought it was a broad-based discussion where they were going to discuss what were the issues, the 10-point agenda, where are we?
KCB.
But guess what? To their shock. So it was a narrative that was planned to crucify certain individuals who were being seen as not conforming. Now let me ask you, when the President of the Republic of Kenya says on national TV, in the State House, in a meeting where members of Parliament are seated, and they said, you people are extortionists, so-and-so, we know you, so-and-so, you did this, so-and-so, you did that, and you could see that he looked like, and he said he consumes intelligence, and he knows that these things are happening. It has been how long? No accusation has been leveled. No arrests have been made. Nothing has happened. So you can see it was a political machination. And it is very unfortunate that based on that, you can see many governors are actually supporting this so-called broad-based. Because of what? This government does not want accountability. Dibal, if I was the president and the monies I give to the counties, your work is very simple. Devolve EACC. Ensure that these monies that we give these people reach the local communities. Let me tell you, there are places that we said money has to reach because everything was centralized. Now you're coming to tell us that the discussion is between extortionists as against a constitutional provision of oversight. You cannot talk about extortionism or an extortionist if you do not level an accusation and somebody is given a fair hearing. But that does not stop governors from appearing.
Okay.
Because Senate is a provision of the Constitution.
And it's a constitutional mandate to actually...
Absolutely. Actually, if you ask me,
there is no any other mandate.
Do not release do not pass their budgets anymore until they appear.
I thought so.
Because you also have to use your capacity as members of Parliament. But number two, I think it is a high time that because you guys have the authority to actually come up with laws, it would be very, very important for us to now implement Article 125 of the Constitution and make it very, very clear in terms of timelines, in terms of how you appear, how you answer questions, and in the event that you fail to show up. And you provide it in black and white that you shall be arrested in this many days, within 7 days, and arraigned. Because we cannot joke with this. These guys are receiving money, our taxpayers' money. And what they are saying that we will not appear because these guys look like the extortionists. It's like saying that a guy who has committed an offense or rape says I will not appear in court because the judiciary is corrupt. What nonsense is that?
All right, let me come to...
It is a joke of the highest order.
Senator Okongo Mogeni, because I know you'll sit on the other side of the aisle. You know, you have ambitions to run as a governor also of Nyamira. This issue...
And they will be elected.
should be dealt with forthwith right now, because if we don't have a cleanup and we find a way forward out of this conundrum, then what will be the amicable solution from your own assessment?
I think the solution is very simple. Let us respect the Constitution. I don't think you can have any solution outside.
Just to follow the Constitution the way it is?
A framework that forces governors to respect the Constitution.
But there is a stalemate right now.
I think
29 of them will not. There have been someone.
There is no stalemate.
No. You see, we now need to direct the OCS.
Yes.
If it is Governor Sakaja, the OCS Central Police Station, to produce Sakaja before the Senate Committee of CPAC on a given date and time. I told you they are trying to be cheeky because I have seen a letter written to the clerk of Senate by Governor Sakaja saying that now give me the time and dates, I'm willing to come. After we have adopted the reports with those audit queries as a house, I think the best thing is let us fully implement the Constitution. You know, initially, if you remember Senator Honorable Elachi, before, people never knew that once you're impeached, you can be blocked from seeking an elective seat. Till a time came and IBC said, no, you're impeached, you can't run. There is the Constitution says, if you violate the Constitution or you evade accountability, you are unfit to hold public office. I think as a house, we need now to pass serious resolutions and seek partnership with the IEBC, with EACC, because what else can be a ground of barring you from holding office than failure to respect the Constitution? You got into power the way Brian has said, through that same Constitution. There are people who have been there before you. The current Senate Speaker, King, was governor of Kilifi. 10 years. Not even on a single day did he ever defy summons to appear before the Senate. Now he's the Speaker. How can you show him contempt by saying, you used to appear, you are just a fool. But as we will not respect the Constitution, we will not appear. We really must extend this partnership with other agencies. Even EACC can move to court and seek a declaration and say, these guys have defied the Constitution of Kenya. They have violated the Constitution by refusing to be accountable, so they are unfit to hold office. I expect some county assemblies to even go further and make this a ground of impeachment. Because if you refuse to be accountable for the resources that you receive, isn't that a violation of the Constitution? You have just told us that governors are budgeting colossal sums of money, billions, to run their offices. In Kitui, I was horrified that a governor can put 2.5 billion to run his office. I mean, just imagine, Dubal, even if he went and said, I'm buying seedlings and fertilizer for the poor residents, so because I'm not demeaning anybody, but we know the state of our economy. You know that there are Kenyans who are extremely poor, who may want to till their land, but they cannot afford the seedlings, the fertilizer.
The tractor.
But you want to live large and say 2.5 B to run my office. What is running your office? Honestly, how many packets of juice can you buy for yourself? How many snacks are you going to buy for yourself?
How many flowers?
We were looking at Nyamira, you are saying, for soft drinks, for your Fanta, Coke, juice, 15 million. How many crates of soda are you going to buy? How many crates of soda will you consume as a governor to put 15 million for soft drinks, to buy soda and Coke, while really 15 million can supply medicine to the residents of Nyamira? What's happening with our governors? I've said, if that's what it means to be a governor, I'd rather not be one. Because my conscience cannot allow me to do some of the things governors are doing. How do you pay a contractor twice? I mean, even if you want to steal, can't you be slightly clever? You pay a contractor 8.1 million. Again, you bring the same paperwork and say, I'll pay you another 8.1 million. How daring can our governors be? I really hope that, when I used to serve at TSCC, we used to say the source of information on corruption used to be media and parliament. I hope EACC and even DCI will pick this up so that we do something that can deter. If you don't deter, things can only get worse. I'm telling you, if these governors get away with what they are doing, the situation on corruption in our counties can only get worse.
Right. Maybe we need to go back to the Kamata Fridays. Yeah.
Even worse.
Now the situation is already worse.
Yeah, it's already worse.
And one of the things that we must be very serious about this, Dibal, is that you cannot tell me that every year senators will be just talking about things, not them who have said you have stolen or mismanaged, or because it's not even stealing anymore. It's just it's like this is his property. They just take.
Yeah, they just take.
I mean, the way they are doing it, it is absolutely very sad, and that is why even when we look at it, even in Nairobi, there are some things you look at and you wonder why wouldn't one of them just change and do something different than the other? Fine, you'll find the governor has done, yes, the food program. That's okay. You'll find, but there are other things also that need to be thought through, completely thought through. And what the governors should be asking themselves, when you take over an office from the governor that left, for example, why is it that all the projects of that governor are stalled? Yet, they are in a period where, for the first time, they receive all their money. By the time you are closing the year for that, the year of that, for the budget you were given, you have all your money. Then you ask yourself, if the monies this time are coming, you have all the monies and everything, why are you in pending bills? Yet, you come in as a new governor and you start creating new pending bills again. You say I have pending bills, but then you are asked, how come then you also have pending bills? What happened here? And yet you are not paying this other one. At least you can be saying, I have my pending bills because I have been clearing the bills that were left by Governor X. No. Governor X's pending bills has been left Dibal, but you are also in pending bills. Why? And so when you hear 8 billion gone, and when you hear maybe in that county, the pending bill that they have, that money is enough to clear all you've made people. You know what is very sad? A contractor came, he ensured, if it is a facility, did it for you. You are even inside. You even stay inside in that facility. You are using it. But you are asking someone again to go and sit down a committee to start now re-looking at pending bills. But I will give you an example. Our morgue of Nairobi, the city mortuary, someone did that facility to date, from Kidero's time, still has a pending bill in Nairobi County. Was never paid. But they are using it. How do you feel? So for me, what the governor should be telling me, in this 1 year, if the Senate will give them money, please pay pending bills. Please don't do any other thing, because there's nothing you're doing. Just pay pending bills. Pay this thing of salaries
Right.
where you have people staying 3 months with no salary. Just clear those ones, because now we are going to an election. Don't leave again people in the worst situation that you never found them. It's not good.
The question also of so many accounts, opened by these counties. There was one county, I don't know, with over 35 accounts. There's money, coming from the exchequer. This money they normally really wait for. But once they check into the accounts, they stay there for quite a while. It has been observed, just to accrue interest, and we don't know where this interest normally goes to. I don't know how this issue is being addressed. I remember there was a time a member of parliament came up with a bill to sort of really address this issue of county monies, being stashed in commercial banks to accrue interest for the interest of the governors, right? And this is not something that has been addressed until today. Is that also another avenue of corruption? Brian Weke.
Even just having those many accounts, forget about the interest. Just having many accounts is fish.
35.
Why
commercial bank accounts.
Why does a county need 35 accounts? Forget about interest. Interest is another issue altogether. But just having the 35 accounts, clearly there's something very fishy. Number two, in counties like Nairobi that are quite established, if you look at a number of audit reports, you find monies are going to a private account. Every money that is paid online. And that's what is also happening at a national level. They go to a private account. And that account also receives money from other different ventures. So now, this guy who's running this system is the one who decides this one is for the county, this one is for my other clients. Debal. Yani, the way KRA collects money on behalf, legally, on behalf of the country. So these guys have created a small KRA owned by an individual company. So everybody brings in, then they are the ones to decide how much has been collected by the county. And this is the same problem that is happening at a national level. This 222, look at the last audit report. So you find a guy has opened their own pipe. Then they are the ones who determine how much are you forwarding to the exchequer. Yani, the level of corruption in this country is on another level.
It's really disheartening.
Debal,
Very, very disheartening.
there's a time I am happy that you are able to look at the mischief. You can pick the mischief very quickly. There's a time I was asking an auditor in our committee, why are you so bothered about these many accounts? Especially, why are you very keen on the one that has been dormant? And then he said, you know what these governors do? They open many accounts, and then when you appear, they will tell you this one is dormant. They'll show you a statement so that you just say there is an account, but it's dormant. The moment you write that statement, in the next financial year, they will now channel money to that account. So it's a way of trying to create confusion, so that if your auditor is not very keen, you will miss out some transactions that go to certain accounts. It's a very deliberate scheme of seafooding public resources. Me, I don't understand some of these governors. Like, people go to public hospitals. You know who those people are. The guys who go and pay 50 shillings for that excise book to have their records. Yes. The guys who go to deliver in those hospitals, these are poor Kenyans who are actually struggling, And the law has said your facilities improvement fund, where you receive money from those facilities, you dedicate that resource to improve services, rotate the money to buy medicine and the likes. Now, if you read page 5 of the audit report from the county government of Nyamira, the governor collects 606 million. Okay? And then he rolls back a certain amount of money, but 57 million disappears. And the auditor is saying, can you explain to me where this money went? Because this money is supposed to have gone back to those 8 facilities. Because if you divert that money, you are killing provision of health services.
Indeed.
And if these guys appear before the Senate and you want to ask those questions, they say Senate wants to embarrass us. Because you will find that that money was diverted to some account, and then they might have created a fictitious, how do you call it, feasibility study workshop somewhere, remove the money, and the money ends in their pocket. I mean, from those poor Kenyans who have nowhere to seek medical attention other than in those public health facilities. I mean, that's how crazy the situation is. And I'm telling you, if you told those governors that we shall hold your sittings in camera away from the media, they will all come running. They will come running. What they fear is to find a Mr. Sifuna there saying things as they are, asking questions blunt and saying, the people of Nairobi want answers. Why did you spend this money on this? That's what governors dread, because they don't want the people back at the county level to know the mismanagement that takes place at our counties. That's where the problem is. I can guarantee you that's where the problem is.
Thank you. I think we have exhausted that particular topic, and I want just to move on and get clarification a bit.
But Dibal, there's something we just need to get right. You know, when you use the word extortion, when you say that these guys want to extort me, you know you cannot be extorted if there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, that's what I say. There must be something where you've accepted.
You cannot
This
be
has to work.
extorted. Today I cannot ask Honorable Beatrice Elachi to pay me for being nice.
Yeah.
Or for being honest.
How?
So now when you say they're extortionist, it means the mirror is there is a very big problem.
It's not me saying. You know, I'm just conveying what the governors have been saying.
No, but I'm just trying to make it very clear that there is a problem with the governors, and that is the reason why they want to now, they are afraid of the so-called extortionists. If you are as clean as Omogeni, why would you be afraid of? How will you be extorted?
Just come and answer.
Can you imagine us extorting you? I mean, why would we extort from you? You've called us here to have a conversation. Why would
Definitely there will be questions.
Okay.
So just answer the questions and then go and rectify.
Let Kenyans really know where the problem is. And,
All right.
and I think the public mood is that nobody is above accountability.
All right, we're taking up to, of course, some time to take a short break right now. But when we circle back, we want also to address the issue of the State House. You remember the church that the president had promised that he will build within the precincts of State House. The Attorney General has come out defending the president on this issue, saying that it is within his right, of course, according to Article 131 of the Constitution, that he is, of course, the unifying factor in this country, and he can invite whoever he wants, you know, within the precincts of State House. We have all the institutions that have moved to the court to challenge that. We have that is Transparency International. Also, we have a petitioner by the name of Munyeri Lenny, who has moved to court to challenge this particular prospect of building a church within State House. We shall be discussing this and what is the legality around this as well, because one of the issues that they're raising is the fact that religious tensions will ensue from this if we go because Kenya is not what they said. Is it the normally says is not a religious? Yeah, it is not.
It is a secular state.
It's a secular state. It's not a religious state, as it were. So we want to circle back and address this issue to just get clarity from senior counsel here as well. We'll circle back with more. Thank you for staying with us. This is the tail end of the conversation, and raised that issue regarding the building of the church within the precinct of State House that sparked a lot of debate. Article 131, Attorney General is defending the president on this and other meetings that he's holding within the precincts of Parliament. Even, you know, the UDA PG, we've had also Maendeleo ya Wanawake today. What is your assessment? Okongo Mogeni.
Yeah, first, you know, in these shows, it's good also to give Kenyans hope that you can be lucky that you get somebody who sets a culture that becomes useful to a country. Like, I think the Americans were lucky to have George Washington as their first president, and they said the Constitution has got no limit, term limit for the president, but really there are many other Americans who can serve as presidents of this great nation. And he did 2 terms. And you know that remained the practice for many years. Yeah. It's Roosevelt who changed that in the 1930s. He did 4 terms. The Americans responded by putting term limit. They say you'll be serving 2 terms. Okay? At times we set a culture that is good for the nation. And you cannot set a culture that becomes bad for the nation. That can take many years to reverse. If you ask me, I've tried to read Article 131 of the Constitution. Other than 131D, which says that the president should promote respect for the diversity of the people and communities of Kenya, I don't see any interpretation that can point to the president getting authority from Article 131 to set up a church in State House. I was reading a book. It's called The Residence. It talks about how you are supposed to conduct yourself when you become a tenant in White House. And it describes, you know, presidents who have resided there, young and old. And you know, they say the culture of that house is in such a manner that it reminds you you are a tenant. That's not your home. You are a tenant. And you are there for a limited period of time, after which you will exit and somebody will come in. That's when I came to learn that why a president can never get into State House before midday is because when you become president in the US, you move in with your furniture. Okay? And you don't change anything. You just move in and you're shown this is your master bedroom, this is where your children can sleep, the likes, kitchen. And then you're also told the cooks serve successive presidents. You don't come with your cook. You find cooks who are there and you're told these ones serve successive presidents. There's one who told the president that, you know, you come and go, me and we'll always be here. Whether you like the way I cook. You know, because that house you occupy, you are a tenant. Just because you have been given that privilege to serve as president, you just come and leave it the way it is. You have seen the controversy that is there. Trump is trying to build a ballroom in White House. And it's a big controversy because that house is respected so much that you are not supposed to do any major change. You just come in the way it is and go. Even Lyndon Johnson, just to change the taps in his bathroom, it took a while because he was being told everything here, you leave it the way it is. So really, the president should understand, we may not have had a Muslim president, but that State House can be for a Hindu, can be for a Muslim, can be for a Christian, it could be a Catholic. So if you set up a church, which denomination is it going to serve? We had seen a culture that had been set by Moi. You know, Moi used to go to AIC, Milimani. So we cannot stop the president from going to church, but he has options. He can attend church that is in the surrounding, but leave State House as a house that should serve everybody, not a place where you receive your political party supporters. You cannot dare in the US, White House. Trump cannot call a meeting of Republicans in White House. It cannot happen. Because they say, once you take oath, you are a president of the whole nation. You serve both Democrats, Republicans, independents, etc. So that's what we really need to tell the president. But I know President William Ruto is once he set his mind on something, he believes that he's got the best brain and can make the best decisions, and he will not listen. But if he could listen to me on this one, I'll tell him not to go that route. Let State House respect the architect of our constitution, which says Kenya is a secular state. Religion should not be part of your governance. You lead. When it comes to Saturday or Sunday or Friday, look for a church that is convenient for you. Go and pray and come back. But setting up a budget, I will even ask, why? Even if you want to do it, why can't you respect the values in Article 10? Do public participation. Let Kenyans give you your view. Let us see whether that policy change has acceptance from Kenyans. So if I was Attorney General, I'll be candid and tell him, Your Excellency, this president you are setting, even when you are out there some years back, you look back and say, I think there I made a wrong turn. A Muslim could be a president. A Catholic could be a president. See, Catholics need their own church. So will the Catholic also come and build? And you know the structure is different. Am I right?
Very different.
The way you build a Catholic church is not the same with, I don't know whether Ruto is building AIC. Which one? I don't know which denomination is aligned with.
It could be a Pentecostal.
Or is a Pentecostal. But he should not go that route. I mean, I'm saying this with tremendous respect. That he's my head of state. I have tremendous respect for him. But really, at times you look at presidents out there. You can borrow from what happens in other jurisdictions. You will hardly get countries where they say, the president has come into office, we build a church for you. Doesn't happen.
Well, but we saw there's a ramshackle, of course, sort of a sanctuary there that the president said we need to upgrade. This is where people go to worship.
Yes.
So he's not necessarily coming up with a new structure, so to speak. Yeah, it's just demolishing what was there to try and just revamp it. So
I think it is sad that nobody understands what is in State House. It's not just the president. We have families who live there, more than 1,000 inside the State House. They have had this church even during Uhuru's time. It was Mabati. It has been there. I think for him, he just wants to now modify it. Whether it can be Catholic, a priest will come, carry their things and do mass inside there. For me, it's not a church it's a church that will have the same church that is there. It will remain that way. And whether a Muslim comes, by the way, that's why I salute Muslims. They would have already arrived and done a mosque. Let us not lie to ourselves here and make ourselves so clean Christians here. That's where we go wrong. Because if I was a Muslim, I will put a mosque. And they will put anyway. And it is there. There's a small one. We have Muslims also there. Where do they go to pray? So it is something that has been there. How he modifies it is the question now. The way Senator is saying, whether you'll put it. But for me, I don't want to enter into that, because we have families who are there and they go to church. Every Sunday you go to State House, you'll find them doing Christmas carols for themselves there. I am their member of parliament, I understand. I go there also, behind. The president even doesn't know whether I go behind there to know whether people need a bursary. They do. They ask. Those are askaris, they do. You ask yourself, an askari is on duty. The whole night, the whole day he's there. He can't leave. He doesn't have a place where he can even go and just pray. That now it is a big issue. No, it is wrong. It is unfair for those who, senators said, even in the US, they normally say, you come and leave us. They are there. Who them, they come. You finish your 10 years, they've been there 20 years. They will tell you, I've given birth to all my children here. They live there. In fact, there was one time which was very sad. And my former president, because they were now sharing houses, they went and did a Mabati village there. One day he came very angry and he demolished everything. And they wondered, but they didn't have houses. I am hoping the president is also building a few houses for them, because they need, so that they don't share. So sometimes it's good to go behind there and see how the lives of people are there. They will tell you. They'll tell you what they also go through. They need, whether it is a church or it can become a hall for them when they have their own functions, it will help them. It will help them. They are normal like us. They have funerals like us. They have, where do they go? They are mess there when I see it. By the way, people just see this front of State House. Even when they go, they see this front debate. When you go behind State House, you feel like crying because people forget that these are also human beings who are living here, and give them some good environment the way you are creating another environment in front. So for me, for all the years that they've been there, everything has been there. And it is Moi who gave them all that, by the way. He respected that because he knew there's a community here and they need to be taken care of like any other Kenyan, because they work for State House. And there are many. And there's huge land behind there. So if it is renovating what has been there, and it can help to be a hall, to be any, even the nursery. I wish you saw the, I love the way he's laughing. How I wish you saw the nursery school, dilapidated, looked bad. And this was State House. I thank God he has done that. You go today, these children have a kindergarten where at least you can live and you go to work, because you work with shifts and others work until night. So it has been a dilapidated place. It's only that nobody goes behind to those houses and see how people are living.
Right. So if we have a population of 1,000 people within the precinct of State House who are working for State House,
yes,
why then would we need an 8,000 seater for a church?
8,000?
Isn't that what we had? It was in the news. Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah?
Those are
8,000.
Those are now just news. You don't need 8,000.
No. Okay, Brian Weke.
Well, I don't know, but I would say you don't need an 8,000.
You don't need an 8,000 seater.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, but
you just do for what I have said.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but at this rate, listening to Honorable Elachi passionately talking about those guys, can we also build for them a mall?
Where?
Inside the State House.
But that's an abuse
Can we
to
also
the officers who stay in State House. That's an abuse.
Can we also build for them a mosque?
Yeah, you can. Why not?
Can we also build for them? You know.
Yeah, build for them. That one I will stand and say,
Now,
yeah, build for them.
Have you also done public participation to find out how many are Catholics?
Yes. Which denomination?
Which denomination is this?
When they were going in the Mabati, did we do public participation debate?
You know, Dibal. You'll be shocked that maybe 90% are actually Catholic.
We didn't have the constitution.
Yeah. Now, but I want to come.
The current constitution.
I want to come to serious issues about what Attorney General said. If you read Article 131 of the Constitution, it has to be read together with Article 10 on national values. And I've also just gone through the Constitution. You also need to look at Article 73, which establishes the authority assigned to state officers in a position of public trust. So it is very clear as per the Constitution. If you look at Article 131, read together with Article 10, all the way to Article 73, it is very clear that the president cannot have partisan politics within State House. Forget about the church. The other day I saw them holding a meeting for aspirants branded in UDA colors. That is a first. Even Uhuru Kenyatta, when he had greeted Raila Odinga and they called each other brother, they were holding meetings in Manzoni. This is the first time.
Oh, we did Jubilee.
Jubilee was there.
We did Jubilee.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah, many times.
So clearly,
yes.
And that is the reason why Elachi...
The mistake we did in 2013.
That is why Elachi...
Precedent.
Yeah, we set a bad precedent, but we just have to deal with it.
But believe you me, you cannot say because Jubilee did it, that let's just continue.
We continued.
This illegal business.
Yes, Jubilee.
It is very clear under the Constitution that the president is a national symbol. The president stands for all Kenyans. So if he wants to do his politics, and we respect that, let him do it away from our State House. That is our state house, not his state house. It is ours. Built by taxpayers' money. The church is also built by our money. He can build also a mall for these guys. We are fine with it. But let him just hold political functions away from State House. Please. If Jubilee did it,
It was a mistake.
it was a mistake.
Oh,
So don't repeat a mistake.
We cannot continue repeating a mistake.
10 years.
We cannot say that because this guy was a thief, committed adultery, committed robbery with violence, because Nani did it, let's just continue doing it. Surely, this is presidency.
But isn't it confounding that this advice is coming from the Attorney General, defending the president with this particular act?
Yeah, you know, at times, when you are professional, is it who is the Attorney General that differed with Trump? I've seen people who stick and say, "I'll not go outside the four corners of the law. If you want me to give you advice, I'll be very candid and tell you what you are doing is inappropriate, it's wrong."
Even Muturi differed with Ruto.
Even Muturi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Dorcas Oduor is, I think, a senior counsel, if I'm not wrong. She's a decorated lawyer. At times she should be firm and tell the president what you are doing is not right. You know, I was challenged. I don't know what I'm going to do. There is a priest who sent me a message when he saw those meetings in State House, and they said, you know, you are a respected lawyer, and I want you to draft a law. And he wrote me, I said, do a law called Neutrality of State House and Protection of Presidency. And he said, yeah, and he said, because we don't want to turn State House to a house that the headquarters of one political party. That is, and these are Catholic priests, by the way, that these are headquarters of one party called UDA, etc. Can you try and come up with that piece of legislation so that we protect the seat of presidency and leave the president to be a symbol of national unity? Because when you are a symbol of national unity, that State House should be a place that any Kenyan can feel comfort in visiting and say, today we were guests at State House. Not because you are an UDA operative, but because maybe your office required that on that day you be in State House for that official function. To be very, very honest, it's even if Jubilee did it in 2013, those were bad habits, and they should be brought to an end. You know, you read history. There are times when in the United States of America, people used to walk to Congress with guns, and your colleague would ask, "By the way, how many are you carrying?" You're carrying two, so that if you differ, you settle it physically. But it reached a time they said, no, we can't conduct our business like this. This house should be a house that is sober, a house that conducts debate, where we're able to bridge differences and pass laws that are in the best interest of the nation. And you know that practice died. You remember senators used to be elected by the state parliaments, like our MCAs, and people used to bribe. So if you give the highest bribe, you become a nominee of that state and you go to the Senate. But all those practices have come to an end. I think we should also, as a country, reach somewhere where we say there are some bad habits we need to put behind us and say now we also want to be the best in Africa. You know, there are people who come to Kenya to benchmark because they are proud of this constitution we passed in 2010. Now you can imagine they are coming here to pick those bad habits that in Kenya political parties have their headquarters in State House. Those are bad habits. We need to set a better example as a democracy. I think if we had followed the spirit of Kibaki, we would have created the best democracy in Africa. But in between, we have had some bad habits. Let us continue pushing that we put behind us bad habits, carry forward the good habits. Let there come a time when we all look at a president as what Article 131 describes as a symbol of national unity. You put you know, we campaign the second month after an election. Second month after an election, we start campaign. That is not the way it should be. Even the foul language that we use, she will tell you that in the Senate, and I'm sure in the National Assembly, the standing orders prohibit us from saying certain things. The first standing order I was told to familiarize myself with was Standing Order 101, which says I should not use foul language when referring to another senator or when debating with another senator. So I believe we don't need to legislate for the president and say there is some language that the president should not use against his competitors. But we expect that that office, you know, that's a very prestigious office. That prestigious office should make him say that there are things I cannot say as you are a symbol of national unity, okay, in the Constitution. So there are some things you should not say against your competitors. You know, I heard him say, I'm doing this because others abused me. But just imagine if Honorable Elachi goes to the house tonight and find children abusing each other, then she says, even me, I'm going to Tukana you now. It will be chaos. But I'm sure as a mother, she will step out and say, no, that's not the way you should behave. And then you will set a good example. We continue praying for our country and hope that some of the bad habits will die with time.
Indeed, we need to bring it to a close now.
Well, I think the best is to bring in the law. You see, the problem with us, as much as we are saying everything here, we are a country who have agreed that we are guided by litigation in everything, even what you just need to know. This is a character and a value and what litigation. So bring in the law, it will guide. But if we don't, and we say, oh, because they started in 2013, my president Uhuru used to do, and when president was deputy president, didn't he do all these meetings? We didn't remember it was the deputy president's residence is also for, but we agreed. We gave 10 years of bad manners. So we can't come just now and say, now stop, put in the law. Because that's what we believe in as Kenya, which is sad. But if I agree, well, for me, I agree in terms of this abuse, it's not right. Let me just say, it's not right in all of us. Because even you who want to become president also, you can't tell me you'll be abusing and then next when you come, just give us the right character so that people can respect that character and know this is the character that is coming in. I think that should be the best for all the leaders. Because even abusing and doing all these shenanigans we are doing, it's making everything look so bad and so as, and that is why we will come to the Senate and behave the way we are behaving, because we are just watering down all our institutions, making them look as if it's a joke. It's not. Let's have character as leaders. Let us have values that people can appreciate, that this is my value, this is what I stand for, and this is who I am.
Leadership and integrity. Chapter 6 of the Constitution.
Brian
Weke, finally, I know, I don't know, just as we're closing up, maybe as a cursory statement or a cursory maybe answer that you'll tell us. First of all, I hear that, is it Kalonzo now? There's a signaling that he could be now the president elect, so to speak, when from United Opposition is being suggested.
Let me just focus on the issue of on the issue of national value. If you look at Article 10, it has enumerated all these issues in black and white. If you look at Article 131 and Chapter 6 that provides for Article 73, it is very clear. And there I want to agree with Honorable Elachi that really these things have been provided for in the Constitution and they are very clear. You know, going against it is just blatantly not respecting the Constitution. On the issue of the opposition candidate,
the presidential
it is still very early.
candidate is it's still very early.
It is still very, very early.
It is one of the principals who's signaling, or maybe just testing the waters.
Yeah, it is still very, very early. If you remember, in 2007, during the Pentagon, Raila was nominated very close to election. And that is strategic. It is strategically so, because you also don't need for the candidate to be
That's a topic for another. It's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it. Thank you so very much. I really do appreciate you coming through as well, Brian Weke. We've had a very trenchant, very incisive discussion as well. British Elachi, Member of Parliament at Dagoretti North. We really do appreciate. And Kongo Mogini, Senate Council, Senator of Nyamira. We really do appreciate you coming through as well.
As we respond to summons, we're not like government.
Thank you for responding to the summons.
Late summons.
Late summons. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for being amazingly patient as well. You've been watching The Insight here on TV47. Have a good night.